Welcome to Season 1 of The Chris Hanna Show, where we're going all in on how to improve your performance, your productivity, and your impact. Today's podcast is brought to you by my website, chrishanna.ca. There you're going to find blogs, ebooks, and coaching solutions on how to assist you with achieving your goals. You'll also find a description of some of my recent speaking topics that are currently offered. For all that and more, visit chrishanna.ca today. In today's episode of The Chris Hanna Show, we're going to actually talk about the importance of trust. I think this is something that's common knowledge, although many people forget it, that trust is the foundation of all relationships. If you don't have trust, you're going to struggle with building rapport. Whether you're trying to lead a team or just be a contributing member of a group, it's hard to really be a real strong contributor without trust. From a leadership perspective, leaders need to demonstrate that they have the competence, the right systems, and the processes to make people feel safe, and that they are somebody that they should invest their time in trusting. But so many leaders will make mistakes, and they will start to burn trust. A mistake that many leaders make, early on in their career especially, is creating a culture of treating employees with what I like to call the need-to-know approach. This is something where it signals a level of distrust by limiting the access to information that team members have. Now, I've known many leaders throughout my career who have done this, where they hold back a certain level of information because they do it out of fear of being perceived as not being in charge or being threatened by those who work with them. These leaders prefer that all communication, good and bad, flow through them instead of sharing that responsibility with others. Sometimes they will accuse other leaders of withholding information or of holding back when something needs to be shared with them or when they feel like it needs to be shared with them. Some of these leaders get so insecure because there's just a lack of trust that they have in others. Now, trust is something that is obviously earned, but it is something that you need to also have an ability to kind of give. It's a give and take relationship. Now, these leaders who like to take the need to share approach struggle with being more open and transparent. If they were, it would build more trust by providing everyone with access to information without putting up certain roadblocks. I've been accused at times throughout my career of living in both camps, to be honest. Early on in my career, in different points, I've been seen as somebody who might be, withholding some information. The other times, I've also been someone who's been known to be an oversharer. I tend to lean towards more of the overshare and overcommunicate approach, because I think that is better for fostering trust and creating a culture of being open with team members. If there's something that I can say, I will say it. And if I don't know if I can say it, I'll probably still say it, even though that I know it's probably going to be something that maybe should be held back. But I think it's better to be honest because I think people deserve the respect and the transparency to know what is going on. Years ago, I once had a senior leader tell me that trust is like going to the bank. Through your consistent actions, you're putting deposits in the trust bank while building a more significant amount of relationships and rapport with people. So if you break someone's trust, it doesn't take too long for those deposits to become withdrawals and disappear quickly. Before you know it, all that trust is gone. It's easy to spend and it's hard to save or regain if you have lost someone's trust. It's essential to focus on always earning that interest and building trust in your relationships with everyone. Through the right actions, the deposits you will make will cause trust to grow. But so the key piece here with trust being like going to the bank is consistency. The more consistent you are with your actions, or the more consistent you are with doing what you say you will do, the more that people will believe in you, the more credibility you build up with them. Now, there are going to be people that you're going to run into who are going to second guess or perceive what you are doing as disingenuous sometime or not fully believing everything. Sometimes they might be right or justified in feeling that, and sometimes they might be wrong. So it comes down to building some of that trust and rapport. And the truth is, you're not going to get along with everyone. I know that. But you got to do the best you can. There's also times where you can give a lot of trust to people and share and be vulnerable and be open, and that can come back to bite you. You can be burned by it. And that can be a challenging thing too, because once you're burned and you've opened yourself up, the chance of you wanting to do the same again is less. To really put yourself out there and grow trust with somebody and build that relationship and that connection, it's essential that you put yourself out there and be vulnerable. It's not always going to work, but when you admit when there might be challenges or mistakes made or issues, the hope is that most people will take you as being genuine. Nothing ever goes perfectly, and teams see through any sort of fluff, and ultimately, everybody wants to work with somebody who's real with them. If you can be genuinely vulnerable and share and be honest about your own experiences and how you communicate or what's important to you, trust is more apt to develop. When there are issues that arise, people are more likely to confide in you instead of working around you too. So if you want to build trust with anybody, you want to be real with them. Hopefully they will be real with you. I'm not saying that everyone should get along. There might be people that you interact with where it's just not going to be effective in terms of building a relationship. There might be some past history. There might be just a certain level of resentment. Heck, I've even known some leaders who just seem to be at odds with one another because there's a perceived level of just threat between the two, or a concern about some sort of jealousy potentially with certain folks as well. That some people just don't mix well. And that's okay. All you can do is make the best of every situation, pick and choose your battles, build rapport where you can, or even if you don't get along and you don't have trust, come together when it matters most on the issues that are the most important. So as I've said, building rapport is critical to building trust. All relationships start and end with trust. To solidify trust within a team that you might be leading or part of, you need to find a way to build rapport. It's important to get to know people on a personal level, or ask for their input, their help, get ideas from one another. That can be also a great starting point for anyone to build trust. The more that you can start to define expectations with one another in building that relationship together, the more there might be a shared understanding of where everyone is coming from. Everyone has experiences, everyone has opinions, and the more that people can consider different perspectives with those that they work with, the less likely they are to ultimately meet resistance as well. But when there is pockets of resistance, or when people are pushing back, embrace it. It's actually okay if people have a different opinion, or they don't see eye to eye with you. Because I think it's important for people to recognize, and this is a humbling moment for a lot of people, to realize that they don't have all the answers, or they don't have all the best, most fabulous ideas either. Instead of just being successful on your own, sometimes the best success can actually come from working together. And how people can work together is by developing trust. So my final thought on this is that the more that people can build rapport and trust with one another through consistent actions and communication, the more that they will build up those deposits, the more that they will be able to achieve results together. You've been listening to The Chris Hanna Show. To have me speak at your next event, or for additional solutions to help you achieve more than you thought possible, visit chrishanna.ca today. For other solutions and resources designed to help companies and leaders rethink and evolve their approach to managing, be sure to check out evolvingmanagement.com. Lastly, please remember to subscribe and share to receive the latest episodes wherever you listen to your podcast. We look forward to connecting with you again soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.